Welcome to Alexander Hamilton Memorial Free Library's First Responders Appreciation Month program. We are pleased to have Chief Sourbier of the Waynesboro Police Department with us today to speak about those officers who have been killed in the line of duty in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Sourbier. I'm the Chief of Police for the Borough of Waynesboro. Today, I have been asked by the library staff to speak to you for a few moments regarding the line of duty deaths of Officer Robert Flenner and Officer William Daywalt of the Waynesboro Police Department. Bear in mind, please, that in the year 2019, 89 police officers in this country gave their lives in service to their community. And in 2018, 106. And that's a general average for each year. It is often very easy to forget that right here in our own small community, there have been members of your community's police department who have died in the performance of their duty. Officer Robert Flenner, December the 14th of 1908, arrested a gentleman for what the newspapers at the time described as a savage and brutal beating of his mistress. Officer Flenner brought Mr. Williams back to the office and he placed him in a cell to await arraignment before a magistrate. While Mr. Williams was in that cell, Mr. Williams tried to commit suicide. Officer Flenner entered the cell and kept Mr. Williams from committing suicide. After several more minutes, Mr. Williams again, this time attempted to hang himself with his suspenders in the cell. And when Officer Flenner entered the cell to keep him from killing himself, Mr. Williams engaged in an assault on Officer Flenner. He beat him severely, including pushing him physically up against a stove that was present in the room where that cell was at. Ultimately, with the help of another officer, they were able to place Mr. Williams back in the cell. Officer Flenner, bleeding considerably, but otherwise feeling fit, cleaned himself up and actually went back to work, not reporting any pain other than just a little bit of discomfort, and he figured that was just simply a result of the brawl. Came to work the next day and worked, although he complained of not feeling well, did not seek medical treatment. The next day, he was overcome with severe pain, was taken to the Chambersburg Hospital, and died that night. The coroner's inquest determining that during the course of the assault, his internal organs had been ruptured, and Officer Flenner died as a result of peritonitis. Officer Flenner left behind a wife and 2 children, and to this day, an unmarked grave, which is unfortunate. Just so you have some idea, these were very real people in service to your community, with very real families and very real sacrifice. At about 10:30 p.m. on February the 3rd in 1914, Officer William Daywalt, walking a foot patrol in the area of the square, hears 2 gentlemen engaged in a drunken argument. He simply approaches them, orders them to take their argument elsewhere and to get it off the street. In return, One of them, with a revolver, opens fire on Officer Daywalt. and a foot pursuit commences. They travel through what we now commonly refer to as alley number 1, the entire time exchanging shots between a drunken individual by the name of Abe Barnes and his brother Bill and Officer Daywalt. He is joined in his foot pursuit by another constable, and basically a running gunfight occurs clear to beyond what is now the toll house at the east side of town. Newspaper reports at the time and the chief of police's report at the time indicates that in excess of 25 shots were fired. During the last barrage of gunfire, a bullet from Abe Barnes struck Officer Daywalt and killed him almost instantly in a field just east of town. Officer Daywalt's assailants escaped. The next day, a posse made up of Waynesboro police officers, sheriff's deputies, and state constables went looking for the Barnes brothers, located them, took one into custody. The other one succumbed to an injury he received when he was shot by a state constable. He confessed before he died his knowing responsibility for having shot at and killed the Waynesboro police officer. It is unfortunate not only Mr. Daywalt's demise in service to this community, he left behind a wife and 6 children, and unable to support those 6 children, that family had to be broken up, and those children dispersed to relatives and friends throughout a multitude of states. However, it is also very interesting to note that of the 4 generations that have passed since Officer Daywalt's demise, that his grandsons, great-grandsons, and his great-great-granddaughter have either served and retired or currently are serving as police officers in other jurisdictions. I think that it is very necessary for all of us never to forget the sacrifices that these gentlemen made and the price that they paid to protect their community. Thank you.